Right, so today I'm here with Scumdropp from Splitjaw and Tenmonthsummer. How you doing?
Doing okay.
Doing
Still
okay?
recovering.
Still recovering from last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was one hell of a show. I mean, like five bands on the bill. You guys played second to last, right before Greedworm. Like, great. It was absolutely a great time.
I had a good time.
Yeah, but that was like your last show with Splitjaw for like a little while, right?
Yeah, we want to take the spring to kind of um, hammer out the new stuff for the second EP and then hopefully get stuff recorded. And then by the summer, have EP2 out.
Hmm.
Um, and it looks like we're pretty solid, our set for new songs. So it's just hashing that out and finding places to record and people to do the mixing and whatnot.
Do you think you'll go back to Aki again to have her do the mixing and mastering for it?
There's talks about going that route, but there's also like a desire to try um, new peeps just because the sound is going to be a little different for this
Okay.
EP. It's not going to be as lo-fi. It would be harder to do the lo-fi magic on the new stuff, I think. That's kind of what Dean was saying too, and I agree. But there's no reason why we couldn't go back to Aki.
Nice. So when you say you're going to try going away from more of the lo-fi stuff, what kind of route do you think you're going to take on this EP? Like what more of a style are you going for on this one?
I would say it's definitely more of that melodic kind of vibe. There's a lot of fast moving, kind of lead sounding parts, not just in guitar, but like also the drums kind of have more of a lead feel to it at times. But it's also very much carrying elements of EP1,
Mhm.
just trying to go in a different, not completely different direction, but like just kind of a different shade of that vibe that was in EP1. Um, Definitely a lot more angrier, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of the lyrics for what Mod's been doing, and yeah, it's
Now,
it's
is the
heavy.
tone of the music going to match the content of the lyrics then? You think it's going to be able to match that level of anger?
Yeah, I think so. There's one song that's temporarily called "Stabbing Me Gently," and we played it live at Meat Whiskey, and it the lyrics are like pretty much describing like the Palestinian genocide going on, and not just that, but like the overarching qualities of like the political spectrum and um, just the circumstances that go with any marginalized body right now.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely a heavier, more politically um, laced song based on what I can see in the lyrics. Um, but even the name is kind of like an ode to that uh, struggle for
Right.
marginalized people.
Yeah, definitely. You guys also at that same Meat and Whiskey show, you played your longest song, I believe. Was that the same one? The one that came in around like 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Leech is also pretty long, but yeah, it was definitely the one where it was like, is this the end? Is this the end?
Personally, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a great track.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I definitely think that like Splitjaw is one of the better bands coming out of Chicago right now. I mean, the blending of styles of bit of metalcore, bit of hardcore scrams. There's elements of like even death metal in there. Where do you think a lot of these influences draw from to be able to come together so neatly?
Well, I would say everyone in the band kind of has ties to like some sort of heavier genre,
Mhm.
be it, new metal, scrams, hardcore, um, whatever metal, and that's kind of a vague genre, but um, definitely everyone has a liking for that heavier sound and that fast, intense kind of feeling. But I would say, like, for me personally, I like any genre, but I grew up with a lot of like heavier stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I'm from Iowa, so I listen to a lot of like Slipknot and a
Yeah.
lot of like Mudvayne, and Mudvayne's not terribly heavy, but like you know what I mean. That
Yeah.
route is pretty much what I was being fed as a young person, and it definitely translates into what I play now, for Splitjaw, and even sometimes Tenmonths, depending on the song. Uh, and I would say for like the others in the band, they kind of have had a yearning to make music that's heavier.
Mhm.
It seems like, and some of the other projects they were doing didn't seem as heavy, and they're kind of like, Splitjaw is that place where I can kind of
Yeah.
push the boundary a little. Um, so it's nice, kind of get to experiment in that musical sense.
Yeah. And then you also brought up 10 Month Summer. Do you have any upcoming plans for them?
Um, well, yeah, like show wise, we got a show on the 20th at, I think, Kitchen 17, and then um, we got some shows in April. I think the main focus is to kind of do a show a month at least,
Mhm.
or if we get asked to do another show, we'll try to make that work. I know Luke's getting married in June, so we're kind of busy, I guess, as a band family.
Yeah.
Uh, but we're also trying to like finish up a um, vinyl release.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for the Fate Lines EP, and we just got some like inside cover shit, like
Mhm.
the I don't know, the paper that like shows you all the lyrics
Yeah,
and whatnot.
inserts.
Yeah, the insert. Thank you. Where we just finished some of the last details for that, and we're gonna get that finalized hopefully soon, and then hopefully push out vinyl by like, I don't know, April or May.
That'd be sick. Is there any
I
thoughts on getting the Splitjaw EP put on a vinyl at all, or maybe a cassette even, or any physical release really?
I have honestly not heard talk about it, but I would not be opposed to starting on that process. I would
I'm
love that actually.
I'm just saying the on like a black and red kind of swirled 10-inch vinyl, that'd be pretty sick for the EP. Especially with
Honestly,
like the way the cover art is, it would just a thought.
no,
Then again,
please.
I'm pretty big into like collecting like physical media and stuff like that, so I would absolutely love to have that. Like another local like Chicago band, Ladder, they just put out a final release of their EP they put out last year, which is like you two are like tied for my favorite EP of last year because both are just absolutely amazing. Like the Splitjaw and Ladder are two of my favorite local bands right now, just absolutely crushing it in both regards.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so, what do you think of the reception so far to Splitjaw? Because it seems like every show that I've been at that you guys have played, the people have just absolutely loved it. It seems like no one has a single bad thing to say about it. Uh, how's that been for
Um,
you?
it's been really humbling, and I really appreciate the response that's come from it. You know, there's a lot of people who, I think, find solace in the kind of rage and the doom that we're speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably more so now than when we first came out as a band, given the political climate as of late. But I would say everyone who comes to our show really seems to respond well. I don't think people that don't like us will come to our shows
Yeah.
just because it's either not worth their time or um, I don't think they'd get the kind of um, I don't know. There's definitely some individuals who um, are fascists and have spoken their mind about us online. So
Yeah.
they're certainly welcome to our shows, but they're not without warning. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
come
Um,
at your own cost or your own risk.
yeah, I get that. Well, yeah, I was more so referring to like people who may not have known you,
Oh yeah,
and then by the time they leave, they're Splitjaw fans. Um,
yeah. I've had people come up to me and they're like, "I didn't know what you were," and like, I just knew the other one of the other bands
mm,
on the list to line up, and y'all blew me away. And it's been a very very positive experience from people that just show up. Like there was one person there yesterday at Avalon who had seen like 10 month shows and was like, I didn't know you were in Splitjaw, or seeing you in Splitjaw was really cool, and the vibe of Splitjaw was really resonating with me in a way I didn't really realize. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad we could help you like
yeah, I mean that's gotta
feel
be
better.
huge to hear that from someone who can appreciate both of the bands you're in without even knowing that.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't be more appreciative of the kindness and the positive response that's come from either uh, project. And I guess for Split Jaw, there's like, uh, the heaviness element to it really resonates with me. But just the community in general that's kind of wrapped around Split Jaw thus far has been very um, positive and rewarding to be around. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, because of the way you all blend styles so elegantly, is that you can fit in on a lot of different bills and seamlessly slot yourself in. The meat and whiskey show, those were more like more like metal bands or like metalcore adjacent bands. But then you can play on a bill like last night where it's almost like all hardcore bands and punk bands. But then also do a show like Motion Sick and Life Looks Good with pop punk and emo and just seamlessly slot yourself in there. With how versatile and broad the scene in Chicago is right now, the it's almost like Split Jaw is like the perfect answer for the diversity in the scene. It helps bring things together and creates a really inclusive environment for lots of different genres and people to take part in that. You know, how do you like uh, is there any plans to try and I know you said you're gonna try and go like not as lo-fi and maybe like a bit more melodic. Are there any other like genres or bands that kind of jump out at you, or like anything that you've been listening to a lot to kind of get you to where you kind of want to go in that more longer direction with your songs and maybe more melodic direction?
Um, I guess personally, kind of yes. There are some bands. There's definitely a band called Known Demise that I've been listening to a lot,
Okay.
and they have a lot of cool like bass lines that are kind of not four on the floor typical kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I really appreciate that, because I have the bias.
Mhm.
But yeah, Known Demise is definitely something that's kind of been influencing my direction. But also, kind of bands that aren't necessarily um, the same kind of sound as Splitjaw.
Mhm.
There's a duo called Heat Death that I really appreciate. They just released an album this January, and um, you know, it's got like pretty on the mark drum parts and like really screechy guitar feedback, and I really like that. There's no bass in there that I can tell, but I really like the kind of sound that they make. that's kind of influenced some of the stuff that I've been sending Dean for this EP too. Um, but also like bands like Chat Pile have been kind of pushing my kind of rage-filled like riffs and whatnot. Kind of that grungy, almost radioactive kind of feeling. Um, and then there's one more band I can't think of right now. It'll come back to me.
Hey, when in doubt, lean on some other Chicago melodic hardcore, throwing a little bit of Rise Against in there. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I love Rise Against. I would like grow
it's
up
an
on
option.
it. even
Um,
like Greedworm has kind of like is a newer band that I got introduced to like less than a month ago, and like that bass player really kind of tickles my fancy for the bass sound a lot, and especially in a more heavier like genre that they do. It really is kind of pushing what I'm like trying to create, or at least it's influencing my desire to like create heavier stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess like a non-heavier band, or I guess what's the word? Kind of like an alternative band that's in Chicago is Background Character. They're
Okay.
really influencing me in their own way.
Now, are there any plans to tour outside of like the Chicagoland area? Maybe get a Milwaukee show in there, or go out to Rockford or Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, maybe.
Yeah, we were talking. Me and Dean were talking last night about possibly going to Grand Rapids for our first out of state show.
Nice.
Just because we have some peeps from Grand Rapids that we know. But that's like a maybe because Jay is also in like Lionheart and tours like just every year. Sorry, my fire alarm was beeping. But other than that, I don't think there is much of a plan as of right now to do any like big touring.
Yeah.
But that could change like in a week or a month, depending on the direction of things.
Yeah, I mean, hey, maybe go up to Grand Rapids and do a show with Motion Sick, you know? You guys just treat it like a fucking child of divorce and bounce back and forth between Grand Rapids and Chicago. It's like, who gets custody of the band this weekend? They're with us this weekend.
No,
Okay.
God.
Yeah. It's like, can we at least meet halfway? We'll do a show in South Bend. I can't. I don't want to drive all the way up there.
We have to do a show in Nashville for Christmas
Oh
and
yeah, you
holidays.
gotta meet the awkward step parents that they bring in from Detroit, where it's like, all right, this is your new stepmom. It's like, all right, sure.
They're in the country for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Really trying to get with the mixed bills.
Yeah, it's like, huh. I didn't know they spoke with a southern accent in the middle of central Michigan, but apparently you do. Go for it.
Like a Billy.
Yeah, yeah. So like, what are so with you said after this, like you kind of want to take the rest of the spring off, you know? So where does when does everything kind of restart then? Around the time are you gonna release the EP before the little bit of break, or are you gonna is that gonna be your like comeback?
I would say as of now everything's tentative,
Yeah,
but if I were to give like an estimate or a guess, I would say probably May is what
nice.
we'd like to do for like a release. That way, when we get back into the things in June, because we have shows in June planned for sure, but nothing from now until then. Um, I'm hoping by June we can like give new music to people. But like that depends on so many things, and I mean we were able to get the first EP done in like started in like July, and then we ended in I think September or late September, and then we got it out in December. So hopefully we can kind of have that same time frame, maybe a little quicker,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully get stuff out. Yeah, by like the time summer starts. Hopefully May.
Nice. And like last question, if you had to say what song right now are you most proud of with Splitjaw, what would you say the song that you're the most proud of is?
The one that's released, or just that we've been playing?
Your choice.
I guess the one that I'm proud of that's released is probably Scorched Earth.
Okay.
Just because that one is fun to play, and it's also a shorter song, so I like that part of it. But I really
It's
like,
quick.
yeah, I really like Stabbing Me Gently, the newer one that's not released, because that one's just got a lot of interesting changes and like time signature changes and tempo changes, and it's a thinker.
Yeah.
I really appreciate what we did with that one, and I'm excited to see like the new stuff and where it goes. So I would say probably Stabbing Me Gently overall, but if I were to pick a released one, it'd probably be Scorched Earth.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you very much for hanging out and chatting with me today. And
Appreciate you.
yeah, I look forward to everything else that's coming out.
Awesome. Appreciate you.